Hello everyone, this is Sid the Baker. Well, last week when we made mince pies, I said that this week I'd show you how to do chocolate or Yule logs. It's very simple, very quick. This is Sid the Baker. Welcome to my kitchen. To make the chocolate Swiss roll for the chocolate log, we need 2 medium eggs, 2 ounces or 56 grams of caster sugar, 2 ounces 56 grams of plain flour, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder, and that's it. Now you've got your ingredients. So I was always taught in the bakery, preparation prevents poor performance. That basically means get all your stuff ready before you start. So with that in mind, I've already set the oven at 150 degrees on the fan oven, and I've set the tray in the oven around about 2 inches from the bottom again. Now for the next stage you're going to need a baking tray. Now this particular one for my Swiss roll is 8 inches, which is 20 whatever they are, and 12 inches, which is basically 30 things. Yeah, I'm not really into metric, as you can figure out. Now, what you need to do now is to line that with a piece of baking sheet. Now the easy way to do the baking sheet, that's the baking paper there, it's for actually putting in the oven, and it's non-stick, if any of you don't know, it's a non-stick baking sheet. So you get your paper, you measure it off to the size of your tin with just 1 inch to spare each side all the way round. Then you fold it in that inch extra all the way around, and you just snip the edges. Can you see the edges where I've just snipped the edges like that? Just like that, on all 4 edges. And you simply just fold it in, press it into the corners. Now those edges will automatically fold around because you've snipped them. Okay, so that's that. There you go, just stick it in like that. And there is your baking sheet ready to use. Okay, we'll put that on one side. Next thing you need is your mixing bowl. Now I'm only using a small mixing bowl because we're using a small amount of stuff. And you want your sieve, because everything in a Swiss roll has to be sieved to let the air in and the lumps out. So you've got a small mixing bowl, or just an ordinary glass bowl in this case, and that's it. And also I'm using the little hand electric mixer. If I was doing a big amount, then I'd be using the big machine, but for this small amount, no, we don't need it. So for now I'm just going to move the mixing bowl out of the way, and this is all part of the preparation. I'm going to get me scale pan. You can use anything you want, but I find this easier, because what we're going to do next, we're going to have to sieve all the other ingredients together. So there's my sieve, put the flour in, like that. Baking powder in, and the cocoa, like that. I'm just going to sieve that now into the pan. There we go, that's ready to use a little bit later on. Move that to one side again, bring the bowl back, and we put the 2 eggs in the bowl. Okay, now we put the caster sugar in with the eggs, and basically we start whisking. Right, that's literally been about 3 minutes, and you know it's thick enough because it just holds its shape very slightly when you lift your whisk out. Next job, this is the gentle bit now. You gently fold in all that stuff that you've whisked before. Now I'm gently doing it over the top like this. So I'm going put it in like this. We don't want to knock that air out. Now this takes a little bit of practice. Get your fingers like that. Just put your fingers in, like this. And just stir it around with your fingers. Scrape into the edge, ever so gently. You're more or less folding it in, you see. You're not being rough with it, you're just folding it in nice and gently. With all that nice air that we beat into it with the whisk, we don't want to knock out again. We want to try and keep it in there, that's what's going to make it rise. That and that little bit of baking powder we put in just to help it along. See, like that. There. Now this is where the scraper comes in. We want to get the scraper. Let's get that off your fingers a minute. Like that. Get the scraper. Go down the edge now. To make sure you've got all the bits out. Still gently does it. Don't beat it or anything like that. Just gently fold. Right, that's ready. That's ready now to put into the tin. And here's the tin. So tip it up like that. Being as gentle as we can. Like that, you see. Again, scrape it off your fingers. Get your scraper. Now I can leave that for a second while I just rinse my hands. Don't like working with dirty hands. Now we just get that and we get the flat scraper or whatever you got that's flat. These are the best things though. And just gently, ever so gently, just spread it out nice and evenly into the corners of the tin. Again, it's one of those things that might take a little bit of practice because you really do need to be gentle with these things. Now, just to test that you've got it deep enough in each bit, just stick your plastic scraper in, just to make sure it's not thin anywhere. If it's a little bit thin, just move it over so that you've got it right. There we go. Just like that. There we go, ready for it in the oven. Oh, as I said before, I already preheated the oven, 150 degrees, on the fan oven, 2 inches from the bottom, slide that in, around about 10 minutes. Okay, we've been around about 10 minutes now, possibly a little bit less, so keep checking on that after about 6 or 7 minutes. But you can tell when it's ready, you just press your finger on it like that. If it springs back, it's done. So there we go, let's lift it out. Right, so I lifted it out of the oven and I've just put it on the cooling rack to cool for, I don't know, 10 minutes or so. I don't want it stone cold, not just yet, and I'll show you for why in a little while. Right, so we've now got the chocolate roll out of the oven. I've put it on the cooling tray, but while that's cooling off for a few minutes, I want to talk to you about the buttercream. Well, in this particular one, I thought I'd try something different. I'm not making buttercream for this, I'm using this non-dairy cream. It's a double non-dairy cream. Cream alternative, I think they call it. You get it from the supermarket, it's not expensive. I thought I'd give that a try. So basically, I just tipped all that into my bowl, whisked it up. Now, with that, I also added 2 tablespoons of icing sugar. Make sure you sieve it, you don't want any lumps in your cream. So you sieve your icing sugar in, whisk it up. When you've got it nice and stiff, 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder, that makes it chocolatey, you see. So again, make sure you sieve it in, give it a good stir, and that's what you end up with, some really nice light chocolate cream. And because it's what we call synthetic cream, not real cream, it has a good shelf life, so it will really last you right up until Christmas. So there you go, there's your cream. Now, let's onto the Swiss roll. This should be now be nice and cool, yes. There's your Swiss roll, nice and cool. Now, because we put it on a lining paper, just peel the edge of the paper off, just like that. Okay, and flip it over. And that, if you've made your Swiss roll right, will just peel off like that. Put it back on there. There we go. So we've now got the Swiss roll on the baking sheet. Now a lot of people worry that they can't roll a Swiss roll. It's not that difficult. Right, get your cream. Just put a good helping on. Get a palette knife or any broad handled knife. Just spread it on. You don't want it too thick because it'll only end up oozing out. So just spread it on nice and evenly. Just like that. By the way, I'm so impressed with the way I've done this cream. I'm going to use it in a lot of things in future because it's so much easier and much nicer than buttercream, I will be honest. And it's just a case of whisking it up, putting whatever flavour you want in it, and you can use it again and again. Right, there we go. That's the cream. Now, to do this, I'm going to turn it the other way around because it's easier that way. All I'm doing now, I'm starting at one end. I'm trying to keep my hands out of the way so you can see. I'm basically just gently rolling it up. You see how easy that's rolling now? There you go. Oh, that is, oh. You know, I could eat that now. There's a nice Swiss roll. Now, if you just want an ordinary chocolate Swiss roll, that's it, job done. Because we're going to chocolate it into a chocolate log, we'll let that set for a bit. In fact, I'll probably put it in the freezer for a little while. Okay, so we've rolled the Swiss roll and it's all ready for the chocolate. So the next thing is to concentrate on the chocolate. Basically, I use the ordinary chocolate. I don't like confectioner's chocolate. It's much too hard to melt and stuff like that. You get the cheap ordinary chocolate. It's much easier to melt. It makes a much better job. This is the Fair Trades chocolate from the local supermarket. Couple of bars in there, break it up, put it in a little plastic tray, and I use the microwave. You can melt it over hot water, that's the traditional way, but if you get water in it, the chocolate is ruined. You can't get any water in chocolate. So use the microwave, it's much easier. Just put it in, set the microwave to medium, put it on for say 2 minutes. Now you will have to go back to this every 30 seconds or so just to give it a stir. Now we've been about 30 seconds or so, so just open the microwave, get your chocolate out, give it a bit of a stir. You see it's starting to melt a bit now, just stir it around, just so that it doesn't burn in one place. Put it back in, do the same again. Right, we've got the chocolate melted now, see how nice and loose it is. Now, I want to talk to you about the chocolate log board for a second. You can't buy chocolate log boards for love nor money. So what I generally do, get a cake board, ordinary cake board for Christmas, cut it in half, there's your chocolate log board. Now, you notice this has got a few marks on it. I use the same one every year, don't bother changing it. Once you've used it, clean it off, put it away, ready for next year. Right, let's get this log chocolated. I use my plastic scraper for this, dip each end in first. End in, and then that end in. Now this is where the fun begins. What we're going to do now, we're going to dip the bottom part into the chocolate. There's the bottom, that's gone in. Now put that straight onto your board, like that. And then get your plastic scraper and put the chocolate around the outside of the rest of it. Now if you get it all over your board, don't worry about it, because when that chocolate dries, it'll just simply scrape off. So it might look a mess at the start, but once you've scraped it all off, it'll look lovely. Now just round this side, obviously you can't see, but it's exactly the same as the other side. that, because you can overdo it. And then you just get your fork and just run your fork through, just to make it a little bit wavy. You don't want it smooth, you want it rough to make it look like a tree. Like that. Then if you've got any little Christmas motifs, you simply put your Christmas motifs on it. Like that, like that. And a little bit of holly on that side. And there is your chocolate log. So there you go everyone, that was the chocolate or Yule log. If you like what you saw, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, tell your friends, but above all, have some fun at Christmas. See you again next week.